to my channel. Yes, today is Wednesday, and we all know Wednesday is spooky animation. But let's start with greeting. Hello, my name is Daniel. I'll be your host. Your
guy in the chair.
And today we're going to be watching the man who had with my face horror story. So enjoy.
At 3 a.m., after tossing and turning in bed, I went out to the porch of the living room to light up a cigarette. It was late at night, so all the lights in the apartment across the street were off, but only one house, right across from my house, had lights on. Inside, a man and a woman were standing, facing each other, and I could faintly hear high-pitched voices as if they were arguing. Soon after, they started fighting, and after a while, the man lifted the woman up off the ground and threw her out the window. Letting out a horrible shriek, the woman fell to the floor with her long hair fluttering, and then I heard a bang. I was so startled that I climbed up on the railing and looked down, and the woman was lying dead on the cement floor, looking horrible with her skull broken. The man on the opposite side who pushed the woman also was looking down from the railing, and when he raised his head, he met my eyes. Surprisingly, the man looked exactly the same as me. I was so shocked that I gasped, and the man looked at me in surprise and shouted something, but I couldn't hear his voice well. Is this the doppelganger that I've only heard about? I can't believe my doppelganger is a murderer. I was so shocked that I collapsed right on the spot, my legs giving out.
Alex, what's wrong?
At the moment, my wife, Charlotte, who was sleeping in the bedroom, came running to help me up. A man in the apartment across the street just threw a woman out of the window and killed her.
Really?
Charlotte was startled and went out to the porch to check. Don't go outside! The culprit is looking at our house now, I said urgently, pulling her by the wrist. I hid behind the curtains and called the police with my hand trembling. The man living in the apartment across the street killed a woman by throwing her out the window. Please, come quickly. After a while, the police arrived, and the woman's body, who had been dead with her skull broken, was nowhere to be found. And when they searched the house across the street, people other than the man I had just seen were living inside.
Hey, what is all this? Even kids don't make prank calls these days. This is clearly obstruction of justice.
That can't be true.
Everyone withdraw.
I stood there, confused by the situation, when my wife, Charlotte, came up to me and said,
You've been under a lot of stress lately because of the promotion exam. So you must have seen things for a second.
No, I saw a woman falling from the terrace of that house, and I saw her dead body on the floor with her skull broken clearly with my own eyes. And when she fell, I also heard a loud thud.
If it was that loud, I would have woken up since I'm a light sleeper. I'm telling you, stress is this dangerous. Honey, calm down and have some green tea. Here.
As usual, my wife handed me warm, brewed green tea. As she said, my health had been deteriorated due to stress lately, and I was diagnosed with liver and kidney problems during our checkup recently. The vision I had seen that night was so vividly embedded in my head that I had nightmares of it for a long time. The face of a man who looked just like me, the corpse of a woman with a broken skull, the movement of the man's lips shouting something at me. What was he shouting? 7 years later. The abdominal pain with no known cause that continued on for 4 days seemed to subside, but today I was suffering from a high fever. My liver and kidneys, which have always not been good, were now so damaged that they could hardly function properly, disrupting my daily life. I was sure that I was slowly dying from the moment my eyes met the killers who looked just like me 7 years ago. I've heard that when you meet a doppelganger, one of them will die. I thought that maybe the murderer I saw that day might not be an illusion, but my real doppelganger. Watching me lose my vitality day by day, Charlotte cried often. She did not give up on me and often took me to the hospital where she worked as a nurse for a thorough examination, but the cause of my illness was unknown. If I die, poor Charlotte will be alone. Charlotte's beautiful eyes, soft hair, calming voice, and even the warmth of green tea she gave me every day. My heart ached at the thought that there were not many days left to be with her. I recently quit my job. I got sick and couldn't work anymore. As a result, Charlotte became the breadwinner instead of me, and she had to increase her hospital hours in order to get paid overtime. I felt so sorry for Charlotte, but the pain made me helpless, and trying to fall asleep lying in bed during most of my time was all I could do. Then one day, I was looking for painkillers for the severe abdominal pain that started again, but I was running out of medicine at home, so I couldn't take them. I suddenly thought that if I drank green tea that Charlotte prepared for me every day, I would feel a little better, so I headed to the kitchen, grabbing onto my stomach. I hadn't done any kitchen work due to my busy work life, so I had to look for the green tea bag for quite a while because I didn't know where it was. And when I finally found a green tea bag in the corner of the cupboard and steeped it in warm water and drank it, I was startled. It tasted different from the green tea I had been drinking before. I thought there was a separate green tea I'd been having, so I searched the kitchen again when I ran into an automotive antifreeze hidden behind things piled up in the cupboard.
Poison.
Why is automotive antifreeze in the kitchen? It was something I had never seen before, which wasn't the one I had been using in my garage. Suddenly, Charlotte's strange behavior a few days ago when she entered the kitchen and hurriedly took me out of the kitchen flashed across my mind. No way. At that moment, I had a spine-chilling sensation and a feeling of foreboding overcame me. With trembling hands, I put a few drops of automotive antifreeze into the green tea that I had brewed and carefully tried a bit. Horrifyingly, it tasted the same as the green tea that Charlotte had been giving me. I went to another hospital, not the one where Charlotte worked, and received medical treatment. The doctor was surprised to see my condition and explained that my liver and kidneys were damaged due to taking in an ingredient called ethylene glycol, which is used as an automotive antifreeze. The doctor said that after taking it for such a long time, my organs were ruined and the central nervous system was seriously damaged. He said it was no longer possible to recover. This was a diagnosis I had never gotten when I went to the hospital where Charlotte worked as a nurse for the past 7 years. I was told for 7 years that the cause cannot be identified. Can it be possible to not know even after undergoing a checkup?
If you've gotten through a thorough medical checkup, they would have been able to find out. But I don't understand.
I was able to know by intuition that Charlotte and the doctor working at her workplace were on the same side. That night, Charlotte, as always, came into our bedroom after her night shift, offered me green tea, and I said I'll drink it later. When she left, I went into the bedroom bathroom and poured the green tea down the drain. After checking that Charlotte went into the dressing room and closed the door, I crept up and put my ear to the door, and I found that Charlotte was whispering in a low voice, talking to someone on the phone.
He's going to die in 2 or 3 months at most, right? I've got a lot of death insurance for my husband, so the amount will be considerable. Thanks for waiting a long time, honey. See you at the hospital.
I was so surprised that I covered my mouth with my hand and hurried back to the bedroom. Meanwhile, I was dying slowly, not from the doppelganger's curse, but at the hand of Charlotte. I was lying in bed and pretending to be asleep. As soon as Charlotte, who had finished getting ready for bed, entered the bedroom, I heard the sound of her fiddling with the cup on the table, as if checking to see if I had drunk green tea. Then, after a while, as she laid her body next to the bed, I started to hear her roughly breathing, as if she had fallen asleep right away. With Charlotte lying next to me, I got goosebumps and came to my senses. Should I report it to the police right away, or should I start with collecting evidence? I eventually chose the most foolish way. After much thought, I decided to directly ask Charlotte what made her decide to kill me. It seemed that I could understand this unbelievable situation only if I heard it directly from the woman I love. I woke Charlotte from her sleep at dawn and called her into the living room. Charlotte looked puzzled with a half-awake face. Charlotte, I've loved you with all my heart, all my life, but why are you trying to kill me? At my question, Charlotte replied with a panicked face.
Honey, what are you talking about?
I know you've been feeding me automotive antifreeze. At my words, Charlotte put on an innocent expression and insisted that she has no idea what I'm talking about. It's too late to make excuses. If I ask the police to get your call history with your co-conspirator, the doctor you've been having an affair with, your crime will be revealed soon. Then Charlotte, who suddenly took on a horrid look, said,
You weren't a loving husband. You neglected me for a long time because you only worked like a dog. I didn't want to live with you anymore.
Then we could get divorced. There's no need to murder me.
I needed your insurance money. A job as a nurse cannot be a lifetime job.
You bitch!
Alex, you're going to die soon. You'll hate me, but think of it as your karma for neglecting me and forgive me. At least the remaining people should be well off. If you loved me with all your heart, you could at least do that for me, right?
What? Enraged, I rushed at Charlotte, grabbed her by the throat, and shook her violently. And in response, Charlotte slapped my face. At that moment, I lost control of myself, and I picked her up from the ground, ran out to the terrace where the door was open, and threw her out the window. Charlotte let out a shriek and fell from the 11th floor, followed by a great crash. Shocked, I climbed onto the railing and looked down at where Charlotte had fallen. She was dead, her skull shattered on the cement floor. Only then did I realize that the murderer I saw on the terrace 7 years ago was not a doppelganger. I had seen the future of me today, ahead of time. I slowly raised my head with bloodshot eyes and looked straight forward, and my eyes met those of a man standing on the terrace of the apartment across the street, and that was me, 7 years ago. I shouted at him with all my might, "Kill Charlotte!" Then, in an instant, my voice dissipated feebly through the air and evaporated. The man was surprised when he saw my face and plopped down to the ground, and I could only watch helplessly from afar, Charlotte running out of the room to help him up.
Hey guys, that was pretty creepy. To go show everybody has a doppelganger out there, but who knows? That was freaky though. And it shows you can't trust everybody now. Even his wife was trying to kill him. What was wrong with her? Still, that's nuts. But don't forget, if you like it, I snapped that time. Comment down below and then finally subscribe for more notification bell so you know if every time I post a new video and shit. Bye.